In the heart of Asia, there stretches a vast land without boundaries, where the sky feels closer and the earth seems to go on forever. This is Mongolia, a place shaped not by towering cities or constant motion, but by wind, land and time that moves at its own quiet pace. Here, nature is not something distant, it is everything. Endless grasslands stretch beyond the horizon, untouched by fences or limits. The wind moves endlessly across the steppe, carrying a sound that is both gentle and powerful, as if the land itself is breathing. In Mongolia, silence is not empty, it is alive. But beneath this calm and open beauty lies a reality that is far from easy. Mongolia is home to one of the most extreme climates on Earth. Winters, known as dzud, bring temperatures that drop far below freezing. Snow covers the land, cutting off food for animals and making survival uncertain. In a single season, entire herds can be lost. For nomadic families, this is not just loss, it is a crisis that can change their lives completely. And yet, life continues. The people of Mongolia do not fight against nature. Instead, they learn to understand it. They read the sky, the wind, and the land. They move when they must, adapt when they have to, and endure what cannot be changed. This is why the nomadic lifestyle still exists, not as a remnant of the past, but as a way of life that still makes sense in a land that refuses to be controlled. Nomadic families live in gurs, round homes that are simple yet remarkably effective. Built to be taken apart and moved, they represent a life that is never fixed, never permanent. Inside, there is warmth. A fire burns at the center, providing heat, light, and a place to gather. There are no unnecessary possessions. Everything has a purpose. Everything is enough. Outside, the land remains vast and open. Animals are at the center of survival. Horses, in particular, hold a special place in Mongolian life. They are more than transportation. They are a symbol of freedom and identity. Children learn to ride almost as soon as they can walk. Across the open plains, horses move with a natural grace, reflecting a lifestyle that is deeply connected to the land. Alongside horses, herders care for goats, sheep, and yaks. These animals provide food, clothing, and income. Life depends on them, and in return, they are treated with care and respect. This relationship between humans and animals is not one of control, but of balance. Yet Mongolia is not frozen in time. In Ulaanbaatar, a different story unfolds. The city is growing, changing, and adapting to the modern world. Buildings rise, roads fill with cars, and technology becomes a part of everyday life. For many young people, the city represents opportunity, a chance for education, work, and a different future. But this transition brings its own challenges. Families who leave the open steppe often struggle in the city. The freedom of nomadic life is replaced by crowded spaces and new pressures. Air pollution becomes a daily reality, especially in winter. Economic gaps widen, and not everyone benefits equally from progress. Mongolia now stands between two worlds, tradition and modernity. And in that space, an important question emerges. What should be preserved and what must change? Despite these transformations, something deeper remains unchanged. There is a quiet philosophy that continues to shape life across the country. It is not written in books or spoken in formal words, but it is understood. It is the idea of enough. Enough food for today, enough warmth for tonight, enough connection to make life meaningful. In a world that constantly demands more, this idea feels almost unfamiliar. But in Mongolia, it is a foundation. Life here is not about excess. It is not about accumulation. It is about balance between people, nature, and time. Silence, which many fear, becomes something valuable. It creates space to think, to reflect, to exist without distraction. Distance between people does not mean loneliness. It means independence. Time that moves slowly does not mean falling behind. It means being present. Of course, this way of life is not without difficulty. Isolation can be real. The long winters can feel heavy. The uncertainty of nature can bring stress and loss. But even in these moments, there is a sense of acceptance. People do not expect life to always be easy. They expect it to be real. As Mongolia continues to develop, roads expand, education improves, and connections to the outside world grow stronger. The younger generation carries new ideas, new ambitions, and new ways of seeing life. And yet, many still carry the values of the past: respect for nature, resilience in hardship, and the understanding that life does not need to be excessive to be meaningful. Perhaps this is what makes Mongolia unique. It is not simply a country of the past, nor entirely a country of the future. It is a place that exists in between, holding on to its roots while slowly stepping forward. Under the vast Mongolian sky, where the horizon never seems to end, there is a sense of perspective that is difficult to find elsewhere. The scale of the land reminds people of their place in the world, not as masters of it, but as part of it. And in that realization, something shifts. Because life here is not about controlling everything. It is about adapting. It is about enduring. It is about understanding. In a world that is loud, fast, and constantly moving, Mongolia offers a different way of seeing. A quieter way, a slower way, a more grounded way. And perhaps that is its greatest lesson. That life is not always about how much we can achieve, but about how deeply we can experience what already exists. That freedom is not always found in having everything, but in needing less. And that meaning is not always something we create, but something we discover. In the end, Mongolia does not try to impress the world. It does not try to compete. It does not try to become something else. It simply remains what it has always been: vast, quiet, uncompromising, and deeply real. And maybe, in a world that never stops chasing more, this is the reminder we need most: that life is not always about becoming more. Sometimes it is about realizing that what we already have is enough.